Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, By and the Quiet Way He Stayed in Quote. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't and oppose. Like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. By was not the kind of dog that announced himself to the world. He didn't bark when the door opened. He didn't whine when I worked late. He didn't jump up to demand attention the moment I sat down. By simply appeared. One moment the room would feel empty, slightly hollow in that way only quiet rooms do. The next moment, By would be there, lying near my feet, resting his chin on the floor, breathing softly like a steady rhythm you only notice when it stops. At first, I thought something was wrong with him. Most dogs I knew were noisy in their love. They wagged their tails hard enough to knock over furniture. They barked at birds, leaves, invisible enemies. They followed their humans from room to room, as if afraid of being left behind. I didn't do that. If I moved from the living room to the kitchen, he didn't rush after me. He waited, not out of laziness, but patience. And when I came back, he would open one eye, see me, and close it again. Calm, trusting, certain I hadn't disappeared forever. I had a way of staying without clinging. In the mornings, when sunlight slipped quietly through the curtains, I would already be awake. He didn't wake me up. No licking, no pawing at my face. He simply lay beside the bed, his body curled into a warm cama, listening to my breathing like it was part of his job. Sometimes I opened my eyes and saw him watching me. Not staring. Watching. There's a difference. His eyes didn't ask for anything. They just waited. On days when I felt rushed, overwhelmed by schedules and messages and small invisible pressures, I seemed to shrink his presence even more. He moved gently, stepping around scattered papers, avoiding cables, lying down wherever he wouldn't be in the way. Yet somehow, I always knew where he was. It was as if I had mastered the art of being present without being heavy. I began to realize something quietly beautiful. I wasn't trying to be noticed. He was trying to be there. There were days when words felt like too much. Days when conversations drained me. When explaining myself felt impossible. When even friendly questions sounded like noise I couldn't tune out. On those days, I became my safest place. I would sit on the floor, back against the couch, phone forgotten somewhere nearby. I would come over, not immediately, not urgently, but with the kind of timing that felt almost thoughtful. He would lower himself beside me, slowly, carefully, as if making sure his weight didn't disturb whatever fragile mood I was carrying. He never asked, "What's wrong?" He never demanded, "Talk to me." He just stayed. Sometimes his body leaned lightly against my leg. Sometimes there was a small, warm gap between us. Either way, the message was the same. I'm here. You don't have to do anything about it. I started to notice how deeply I understood silence. If I sighed, he didn't react dramatically. If I cried quietly, he didn't panic. If I laughed at something on my phone, he didn't jump up in excitement. I accepted emotions the way weather accepts the sky, without judgment, without commentary. One evening, after a long, exhausting day, I sat at the table staring at nothing. The house was quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator. I lay a few steps away, his head on his paws. After a while, I felt something warm touch my foot. I hadn't moved much, just enough to rest his paw gently against me. That was all. No eye contact. No expectation. Just a small reminder that I wasn't alone. In that moment, I understood something important. Bai's love wasn't loud because it didn't need to convince me it was real. It already was. Bai taught me that companionship doesn't always look like enthusiasm. Sometimes it looks like patience. Sometimes it looks like staying nearby without inserting yourself into someone else's space. He showed me that presence can be quiet and still powerful. And slowly, without realizing it, I began to mirror him. I spoke less. I listened more. I learned to sit with my own thoughts without rushing to escape them. I didn't change my life by doing big things. He changed it by doing almost nothing, beautifully. Living with Bai taught me that both humans and animals don't always need fixing. We often just need understanding. In a world that constantly encourages us to be louder, faster, and more expressive, Bai reminded me of the quiet strength in simply being. His way of staying close without demanding attention showed me how meaningful respect can be, especially in relationships between humans and animals. Bai didn't treat me as someone who existed to entertain or control him. He treated me as a companion. And in return, I learned to do the same. I learned to observe his moods, to respect his boundaries, to value his silence as much as his presence. That mutual respect built trust. Deep, calm, unshakable trust. In our daily lives today, this lesson matters more than ever. Whether with pets or people, we can practice being present without overwhelming others. We can listen without interrupting, stay without smothering, and offer comfort without words. Animals like Bai show us that love doesn't have to be loud to be real. Sometimes, the most meaningful connections are the ones that sit quietly beside us, asking for nothing, yet giving us everything. And if we learn to live that way, even just a little, the world becomes gentler for both humans and animals alike.